With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for sunny skies today with a high near 55. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 38. And Thursday, cloudy with a high around 50. Paul Metza turned 70, and he's throwing a party for a cause. Join AM 950 Radio this Sunday at 7 o'clock at Astor House in Minneapolis for a night of great music featuring Cats Under the Stars Trio and the Tilttown Titanettes. Celebrate the release of Paul's new songs of resistance and respect. Find the ticket link at am950radio.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Broadcasting from the studios of AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and airing on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk. Welcome to The Gailey Show, the only daily LGBTQ radio news and talk show in the United States. I'm your host, John Parker. Jim Pounds, my executive producer, here with me in the studio.
Hey, all.
We are also live streaming on our YouTube channel right now, and when we're not live streaming, you can check out all of our episodes right here on YouTube. Plus, we've got curated playlists of episodes such as our interviews with Minneapolis mayoral candidates. Every single one of our author interviews is in a playlist for you to find your next queer read. And if you like what we're doing there, subscribe, click that like button, and leave us a comment. If you are listening during the 2 p.m. Central Hour, we can take your calls, 952-946-6205, 946-6205. What is on the show today? We conclude our coverage of the Minneapolis mayoral race with our final candidate interview. So in the second half hour, we'll be joined by Minnesota State Senator Omar Fateh. And before that, over the past 5 months, how many jobs has corporate America slashed from their workforce? Yesterday, Target added 1,800 to a jaw-dropping number. We'll get to that later in the show. But up first, is marriage equality in danger? Is it? And this has been an ongoing question since Trump's re-election last November. Should you be getting married right now? Or are the Democrats just having scare tactics? So we are being told it's scare tactics. Two high-profile media pieces from MAGA say, no, marriage equality is the law of the land. No need to get married if you don't want to get married right now. Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett said in a New York Times recent interview that reversing the Supreme Court's decision would violate reliance interest. For her, that means that too many things rely on that decision, and it would create too much damage, too much chaos for families and couples that currently rely on it if they were to overturn it. Kind of sus, considering that rationale. Where was that when they overturned Roe v. Wade?
Yeah.
Okay. But now you have David Urban, who is a CNN commentator and notably a previous Trump campaign senior advisor. He has a new column out in USA Today where he says that Democrats are just creating fear where there shouldn't be any. He wrote in there, marriage equality isn't in danger. Were that to change, Americans on the left, center, and right would come to its defense, end quote. And one could point to two things to justify that assertion. One, as Urban points to, polling shows the majority of Americans support marriage equality. Fun fact, the majority of Americans also support abortion rights.
And gun control.
Cool. So two is the Respect for Marriage Act. That passed with bipartisan support immediately after Trump was reelected last fall. But curious, they felt they had to rush that legislation through if MAGA has no intention of going after marriage equality. Now, there's Kim Davis. Urban has dismissed her case that's currently in front of the Supreme Court right now. She wants the court to overturn marriage equality. If you don't remember her, she's the one with the hair like all the way down to her waist. Back in 2015, she refused to hand out licenses to queer couples. And yeah, she's been fighting for 10 years over this. The Supreme Court receives over 10,000 petitions to take up a case. According to recent reporting, they usually only take about 70 to 90 cases. So let's assume it's 90 out of a round number, 10,000 this year. That's less than 1%. And most people, legal experts, and all the areas that I've been reading say they're going to reject the case. Like literally every step of the process, nobody has taken it up. So, should you get married right now? According to MAGA, no. And yet, according to Lambda Legal, quote, in the first half of 2025, bills and resolutions were introduced in at least 9 states challenging marriage equality. 5 urging the Supreme Court to overturn Obergefell versus Hodges, their court decision. And 4 proposing marriage categories limited to heterosexual couples, end quote. That's from Lambda Legal's website. Now, they say these mean nothing legally. Only the Supreme Court can overturn marriage equality right now. However, MAGA legislators in 9 states are saying we want it gone, overturn marriage equality. And according to ABC News this past June, the Southern Baptist Convention, now this is the country's biggest Protestant Christian denomination, they overwhelmingly voted to make overturning, this is quote, overturning of laws and court rulings, including Obergefell versus Hodges, that defy God's design for marriage and family, a top priority. Okay. And just this week, that's notable about the Southern Baptist Convention because they vote and they're organized and they influence legislators. Now, just this week, as in yesterday, the Texas Supreme Court ruled that state judges in Texas can choose not to perform weddings if they have a religious objection. The decision was unanimous, interestingly, and it went into effect immediately. This is not the only case. In New York State last year, the State Commission of Judicial Conduct launched an investigation into one Judge Felicia Pitts Davis when she refused to marry a lesbian couple. Now, legal experts are saying that the Supreme Court is what they're trying to do is to allow marriage equality and have religious exemptions to it. And you can read more about that in an interview that Josh Rovinger gave to The Advocate. He's the legal director at GLAD Law, which is a Boston-based LGBTQ plus legal advocacy group. But Justices Amy Coney Barrett and Brett Kavanaugh lied in their confirmation hearings about upholding Roe v. Wade.
Right.
And so, should you get married right now? Better safe than sorry, I guess. But we don't know what the Supreme Court is going to do. They are a wild card. They could decide to take up Kim Davis's case. They have been doing things that have been shocking legal experts for a number of years now. So I personally don't believe that we should just take their word for it.
On anything.
And right now, though, it is the Supreme Court. They're the only ones that can do it. Interestingly, what happens if Trump comes out and says, we need to overturn it? He hasn't said that yet, but they do what he asks. That, I think, will also be an ultimate test. My ruling right now, better safe than sorry.
Yeah, I don't trust. I can't find a Republican that I would trust. I haven't been able to trust them for several years. I think they're congenital liars, and these people could be expressing their opinions, of course, but I think undermining the United States, anything that's positive about the United States is their goal, destabilizing this in order to enrich 7 million people is really what's going on. And if they think they can make some money off of either way, if they think they can make some more millions off of it, that's what they'll do, regardless of precedent, regardless of humanity.
You have a Supreme Court Justice, Clarence Thomas, who's basically asked for a case to overturn gay marriage. He's also been doing interviews. So at the same time that Justice Coney Barrett is saying, no, we're not going to overturn it, there's too much reliance interest on that, you've got Justice Thomas also doing interviews saying, no, a precedent doesn't matter. We need to be looking at all the decisions and overturning all the ones that we think are no good. So, is it fear tactics? I think that, to your point, Jim, I don't think it's irresponsible of us to distrust MAGA. Now, there are a number, this administration has more gays serving in it than any other presidential administration in history, and they're all gay married. So they may push Trump to say, hey, no, don't do it. But if Laura Loomer gets his ear and says, you got to overturn this.
But I think it's disingenuous. I mean, I know what you're saying about they're gay and they're gay. They think it's not going to happen, that they're somehow protected. I think they're A, stupid, and 2, self-loathing, because you couldn't be in the Trump administration and be a gay person or in the influence of MAGA like Lindsey Graham and be healthy, you know what I mean, or be positive. They would sacrifice any of us for another $100. So I wouldn't trust them for a minute.
When you're watching the video of this, I will put a card right here for folks on YouTube where they can click to watch an interview that we had with Samuel Clues-Hunicke, Associate Professor of History at George Mason, who has some very interesting thoughts on why there are so many gays serving in the Trump administration. But I don't trust MAGA. And I think it's very, very, very interesting. And this is the thing that I can't figure out. Why are there big, high-profile MAGA Republicans going on air trying to calm everybody down about gay marriage and that it's not going anywhere? I mean, the cognitive dissonance of that is really throwing me right now, particularly because I don't think that it's settled within their own party.
Well, they're coming for us just like they're coming for everybody else that isn't the 7 million richest people in the United States. So there may be some gays that escape it, like Peter Thiel, that creep who has enough money that they might say, he's not a bad one. Somehow they'll make an exception for a moron like that. But for most of us, they're coming for us at some point.
Well, I mean, what they could do is, Peter Thiel and all those gays in the administration, if they do what they did to Roe and throw it back to the states, they can just go to New York, they can go to California, they can still keep their marriage, and the rest of the country.
Screw all the gay people in the red states.
But we've got to take a break here. As a reminder, at 2:30, we are going to have State Senator Omar Fateh, who is going to meet with us to discuss LGBTQ issues. It'll be concluding our mayoral coverage here on the Gailey Show. We're going to talk about our travel partner, Travel Marquette, when we come back from this break. Also, we're going to have a programming note about some fun things happening on Halloween. Stay tuned. You are listening to The Gailey Show on AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. See you on the flip side of these breaks.
Your time is precious. Why are you still mowing your own lawn? I'm Alex Knorr, a young, hardworking entrepreneur serving the Southwest Metro with affordable lawn care. At Buzzcut Mowing, I offer weekly mowing, leaf cleanups, aeration, dethatching, tree trimming, and mulch installation. I work hard so you can relax and enjoy time with family and friends. Call today and I'll handle the rest. Visit buzzcutmowingmn.com. That's buzzcutmowingmn.com.
When was the last time you had your roof inspected for extreme weather and hail damage? This is Chad, owner of AM 950, to talk about the exterior construction company I trust, Snap Construction. If you've noticed new roofing projects in your neighborhood, your home was likely hit by hail last summer and experienced damage. Snap Construction is helping homeowners like you, and they're the roofing specialists I trust. They are the most well-reviewed contractor in the Twin Cities and have a ton of positive customer reviews from homeowners just like you. Even better, Snap Construction's installations are backed by a lifetime warranty, so you know you're dealing with a qualified roofing expert. You want to work with a company that will be here for a long time after the work is done. Snap Construction has handled thousands of claims and will help you through the process. Do yourself a favor and get a free roofing inspection so you have the facts and peace of mind you deserve. Call Snap Construction today at 612-333-SNAP. That's 612-333-SNAP. or visit snapconstruction.com.
Greg Bakken here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville.
Hi, I'm Scott Shambot from Shambot Family Dentistry. We're the fear-free, shame-free dental office. We know dental anxiety and dental phobia are real. We'll take the time to get to know you and give you what you need to be comfortable at all times. We offer free nitrous oxide laughing gas and have high-tech options to help you feel calm and relaxed during your appointments. We'll help you get through every appointment in the most pain-free way possible. If you're having a dental emergency, we'll try and get you in the same day you call because we don't like to see anyone in pain. As my daughter Rachel says,
if you don't see my dad, please see another dentist. Take care of your teeth because they're the only ones you get.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950. I've been going to Shambot Family Dentistry for years. They get me in last minute when I'm in pain and make regular checkups easy and comfortable.
Shambot Family Dentistry in Hopkins and St. Paul. Find them online at shamblotfamilydentistry.com or call 1-800-FIX-MY-TEETH.
Welcome back to The Gailey Show. I'm John Parker in studio with my executive producer, Jim Pounds. We are coming up on the bottom of the hour. If you're listening in the 2 p.m. hour Central, you can take your calls at 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Before we get into this segment, I want to share about our travel partner, Travel Marquette. And the reason why, as you all know by now, Marquette is a very special place to me. I've been going there every year for the past decade. And part of the reason why I love going there is I don't have to worry about traveling while queer because it's a university town, super blue city, reliably blue county, very active pride organization. And next weekend is the Stand Up Comedy Festival, which will be back at the Ordock Brewing Company, November 5th through the 8th, 2025. If you're in Minneapolis, you can hop in the car and drive over. It's a lovely drive, actually. It's not short, like 2 hours, but it's about a 6 to 7 hour drive, depending on how you do it. And if you're in Chicago, you can get on a plane and, direct flight straight to Marquette. This 4-day comedy festival has multiple showings and comedians offering a wide variety of humor. It is 18 plus to attend. But also starting in November, you can experience the magic of the holiday season as the historic Lower Harbor Ore Dock lights up with magical laser displays. This is an old, huge dock where the ships came up and they would, dump the coal and the ore into them. And then these ships would go out, Lake Superior. They light this up the north side of the dock every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 8 p.m. Designed by the Fresh Coast Light Lab, this is a free family laser and light show that changes up every weekend with holiday themes. So your winter themes, your Christmas themes, and even a Marquette-inspired abstract display. Obviously, you're downtown, so you can eat good food, do some holiday shopping. Find me on Blue Sky at thegaileyshow.org, and I will, send me a direct message. I'll give you all sorts of advice on where to go. If that sounds like something you want to do, you can visit travelmarquette.com to start your journey. That's travelmarquette.com. Programming note for this Friday: make this Halloween one to remember. You can join AM 950's very own Greg Bakken for a special 4-hour Ghostbox Radio Halloween broadcast this Friday, October 31st, starting at 7 p.m. He is going to go live from the haunted Pillsbury Club in Minneapolis, home of the Minneapolis Trolley Tours, an LGBTQ-owned business. Greg will be joined by Adam, Refined Divine, Char Savoy, and other guests for a real paranormal investigation inside the Pillsbury Club, filled with spirits, stories, and maybe a few surprises. If you want to experience in person and see an actual paranormal investigation, trolley tours will be running all night. And if you stop by the club, just say Ghost Box Radio at the door, and they will check you into the broadcast. And if you can't make it, obviously you can listen to it here on AM 950 Radio, and you can watch the investigation live on Facebook and on YouTube. So grab your flashlight, light your jack-o'-lantern, and tune in for a night of chills, laughs, and things that go bump in the radio. I love that little tagline. All right,
You love your own writing.
let's turn to the economy.
Oh, Lord.
Yesterday, here in the Twin Cities, Target announced that they are cutting 1,800 jobs overall. Some of them are positions that were already empty, and so they're going to choose to unfill them. And then a number of them are also current jobs that they are just axing
About 1,000.
all together.
Yep.
And this comes as, Target has been under a boycott for a huge chunk of this year that was really working. I mean, for several months at the beginning of the year, their foot traffic in their store was down significantly year on year compared to 2024. And there are folks like myself who said enough is enough. 10 years ago here in the Twin Cities, it was found out that Target was giving all sorts of money to anti-marriage equality politicians. We boycotted, we did the stuff. I knew people who were working in there to make them a more LGBTQ friendly space. We've been doing that work for 10 years. Target was like big, huge, huge presence at the Twin Cities Pride Festival every single year. And they were, employee policies, and they had purchasing, policies around, we're going to buy from, businesses owned by people of color and by LGBTQ people, et cetera, et cetera. And then last year, of course, they backed down to MAGA pressure to remove LGBTQ products from their stores. And then this year, they did a whole bunch more, basically getting rid of their DEI programs and ending programs to buy from businesses of color. Anyway, long story short, lots of boycotts. Someone like myself, I'm not going back. I'm not. We've been here, done that. I'm over it. Twin Cities Pride said, we're not taking your money this year. And I think that was the right call to make. You tried, Target. I used to go there all the time. I mean, I was there all the time. And I'm just like, no, I'm done. I'm over it.
Well, I think it's our whole household has said no.
Whole household. And, even if they turn it around at this point, even if they had the entire store decked out in rainbows at this point, I'm over it. Other people want to go back there. That's fine. I'm not going over there. But I was like, okay, wow, that's, 1,800 jobs. And then I started looking around. I'm like, well, are there other people that are cutting jobs as well? So General Motors is going to lay off 1,700 workers. Paramount is going to be laying off 2,000 employees, roughly 10% of its workforce, and they just started 1,000 of those layoffs in the past week. Amazon is going to cut 14,000 corporate jobs, 4% of its workforce. UPS, 48,000 job cuts.
Well, and what
48,000.
What that report said was they've laid off 48,000 through the first 9 months of the year, which implies that might not be the end of it, October, November, December, but we don't know. We probably won't know till January how many they actually got rid of.
Swiss food giant Nestle, 16,000 jobs. Lufthansa Group, the airline, 4,000 jobs. They're going to do this in stages by 2030. Novo Nordisk, 9,000 jobs, 11% of its workforce. Oil giant ConocoPhillips, a quarter of its workforce, which could be about 13,000. I'm sorry, they have a workforce of about 13,000, so that would be about 2,600 to 3,200 jobs, depending on where they're at in positions that they are temporary and whatnot positions. Intel has said that they are going to, this is according to AP News and a July memo, they're expected to end the year with 75,000 core workers, which represents a 15% workforce reduction from the 99,500 employees they had at the end of 2024. Microsoft earlier this year laying off 6,000 workers. Procter & Gamble, 7,000 workers. This sounds like an economy that's just gangbusters right now, doesn't it? When we come back, we're going to have Minnesota State Senator Omar Fateh and our final concluding conversation with candidates running for Minneapolis mayor. You're listening to The Gailey Show on AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and WCPT 820 Chicago's Progressive Talk.
Hey, Minnesota, it's Brad Friedman, host of the...
Senator Fateh, hello, can you hear me?
I can. How are you?
Good, how are you? I'm John. It's nice to meet you. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you so much, John. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yes. So just we are still, the audio is running on YouTube right now, so live mic. Do you have any questions for me before we get started? I'll have my intro. We'll go into the questions. Everyone's gotten the same 4 questions. So we have the next half hour blocked for you. If we get through all the questions and your answers at the end of the first segment, which is 15 minutes, that's cool. You get to then have free time for the rest of the hour. But please know that we do have the next half hour booked for you.
Thank you so much. That's awesome. Appreciate that.
All right. If you don't have any questions for me, then we will switch back over to the feed. And if you see in the private chat on the right-hand side of your screen, I will put in time cues there so you know how much time is left in the break before we get started.
Awesome. Sounds like a plan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we are active in local issues. We've been in the street standing up for racial, social, and economic justice. At Minuteman Uptown, our mission is to connect all communities through technology-driven print solutions. An example of that mission is when I moved Minuteman Uptown to North Minneapolis. We're invested in this local community, and we help small businesses and local organizations throughout the Twin Cities reach their audiences. Reach out to Minuteman Uptown and partner with a printer that shares your values. Call us today at 612-870-0777 or visit us at mpuptown.com. That's mpuptown.com.
Hey, Francois, what's with all the wrapping paper?
Salut, Laura, je fais des cadeaux.
You're making gifts. These must be for your clients. And then your favorite macaroons from Nicolette's.
Bien sûr.
Oh, they put your business logo on them? Luxurious.
Oui, et ils expédient partout dans le pays.
They ship anywhere in the U.S. And look how many you bought. You must have lots of clients.
Mais non, ils sont tous pour moi.
Oh, Francois, these are just for you? Well, visit nicoletsmacaroons.com today to create thoughtful gifts for your business, your friends, or yourself.
I'm Shelley Medore, and I'm running for Minneapolis City Council. As your council member, I will fight against harmful MAGA policies coming out of Washington and push back on extreme policies here at home. Minneapolis doesn't need more grandstanding. We need good governance and common sense solutions. I will work to invest in community policing, protect tenants' rights, and invest in our small businesses so we can keep Minneapolis a welcoming city for all. On Election Day, I'm asking for your vote. Together, let's choose Minneapolis. Vote Shelley Medore for Ward 2.
Prepared and paid for by Campaign Fund of Shelley Medore, Ward 2.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for sunny skies today with a high near 55. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 38. And Thursday, cloudy with a high around 50. Experience the comfort of Nightingale, your neighborhood bar and restaurant. Enjoy American classics like the famous Nightingale Burger, Ginger Tamari Chicken Wings, and Duck Pastrami Reuben. Open daily 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. with their full menu served until midnight. Takeout also available at nightingalempls.com.
AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Coming to you from the studios of AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and airing on WCPT 820 Chicago's Progressive Talk. Welcome back to The Gailey Show. I am John Parker. We are 33 minutes after the hours. A couple weeks ago, we broadcasted live from the Home Hope Health Minneapolis Mayoral Candidate and Voter Education Forum. And then AM 950 aired the full forum live. You can watch that recording on our YouTube channel. But we here at The Gailey Show wanted to continue that coverage. So we are inviting candidates for Minneapolis mayor to join us for a conversation specific to the LGBTQ community. We are concluding those interviews today, where each candidate joins us will be given the same questions and the same amount of time with us. We've curated all of these interviews with our candidates into a special playlist on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@thegailey show, or you can find the individual episodes everywhere you get your podcasts. Today, our guest candidate is Minnesota State Senator Omar Fateh. Senator Fateh is a Minnesota state senator running for Minneapolis mayor in 2025. He serves as chair of the Higher Education Committee and vice chair of the Human Services Committee. He has been the lead author on successful bipartisan bills ensuring free public college for students from households that make less than $80,000 a year, securing a minimum wage and worker protections for Uber and Lyft drivers, and increasing overdose prevention by exempting fentanyl test strips from classification as drug paraphernalia. Senator Fateh, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Okay, can we start by you sharing with our listeners and viewers the specific actions that you've taken in your career that support the LGBTQ community?
Awesome. I want to begin first by saying thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak with you today and to join your audience and to share my vision and our collective vision for what Minneapolis can be and what we know what the possibilities can be. At the Capitol, we've had many victories, but we still have a long road ahead of us. Last biennium in 2023, we were able to secure a trifecta meaning the Democrats having the governor, House, and the Senate. And with that, we were able to really push the envelope and push for policies that made Minnesota more welcoming, more inclusive, uplifting everyone. One of the proudest moments of the session, or last biennium, was the passage of the trans refuge bill, Minnesota trans refuge bill, to ensure that we're protecting gender affirming care. And also what we've seen from that is that a whole host of folks from different states, different parts of the country, coming to Minnesota because now it's more welcoming, and now that we know Minnesota is the North Star for the rest of the nation, and I think that's a proud thing to stand by. We were able to work on the banning of conversion therapy, and we know that has been a conversation that has been ongoing for a while now, and we knew that once we had the trifecta, we had to strike while it was hot. We had to make sure that we're making good on some of the promises and things that the values that the DFL holds near and dear. I was a co-author on legislation with my ally, Senator McEwen, and other folks to ensure that in our curriculums we're including the contributions of LGBTQ members and their history. And I think that's really important for us to include for our students to learn about the contributions of our fellow Minnesotans, what they've brought, how they've helped make Minnesota what it is today. And still, as I said, there's still much more we can do and to make ourselves a more welcoming and prosperous city and state.
Thank you for that. My next question, in 2024, according to exit polls, 86% of LGBTQ voters cast their ballots for Vice President Harris and Governor Walz. However, since November, pollsters for Legacy Media and the Democratic Party, think tanks, and a certain popular Democratic governor have called for centrist moderates as well as the Democratic Party to either downplay LGBTQ rights or to stop supporting certain rights altogether. This comes at a time when the LGBTQ community is facing the Trump administration, who is banning LGBTQ school curriculum, ending educational supports for LGBTQ students, revoking federal funding to colleges offering pro-LGBTQ services, banning transgender service members, ending all health care for trans youth, and eliminating hundreds of millions of dollars in LGBTQ research. As mayor, how would you reconcile this fight between those who want political leaders to downplay and or walk away from the LGBTQ community when the community needs the most support?
Well, I would say that the successes that the GOP has seen and the failures that our party has seen even more recently isn't due to our stances and our protections of the LGBTQ community. What we've seen is that the LGBTQ community, just like other communities, want to see us guarantee housing as a human right, provide health care for everyone, gender affirming care, making sure that there's adequate wages. We know, especially like in Southside Minneapolis, the district I represent, there's a disproportionate amount in terms of homelessness, transgender and transgender youth especially, which is heartbreaking. And so those are the kind of the issues that we've been facing and speaking towards. There's a reason why we've seen Trump succeed in 2024, but now we're seeing a whole host of progressives this year locally, from New York to here to Seattle, succeeding. And that's because it's the message of affordability and speaking to the needs of people on a human level. And now, was Trump lying? Of course, 110% he was lying, but he knew he needed to speak that language to win the election. And so we know that right now we're going to be in a position in which the Trump administration is going to force a choice, saying that you either have to sacrifice your values or lose funding. And as mayor, I want to say unequivocally that we cannot set the precedent of sacrificing our values. We need to make sure that we're standing strong, and we can do it. We can make up the gaps in funding or whatever losses we have by having a cross-jurisdictional approach to planning to partner the city with the county, county with the state, and fighting together and providing that strong line of defense so that we're not sacrificing our values. And so I disagree with some of our party members that the reason why we've seen some of the losses is around social issues, and that's not the case at all.
We're talking with Minnesota State Senator Omar Fateh, who is a candidate for Minneapolis mayor. Early voting is underway. You can find your ballot and polling location at vote.minneapolismn.gov. There you can also find information on how to register to vote. Election day is November 4th. Senator Fateh, our news partner, Windy City Times, has discovered that in Chicago, no major hospital provides gender-affirming care anymore to trans youth because their federal funding was threatened by the Trump administration. In Michigan, their attorney general put hospital systems on notice, saying that the availability of federal funds from the Trump administration does not determine whether or not those healthcare providers can comply with state laws. In Pennsylvania, a complaint has been filed with that state's Human Rights Commission against a hospital system when they stopped providing trans healthcare services after threats from the Trump administration. As mayor, how would you support healthcare systems in Minneapolis to continue providing gender-affirming healthcare and hold them accountable if they stop?
Absolutely right. And I think that it's important, to not set the precedent as mayor in terms of throwing our communities under the bus. I want to ensure that I leverage my relationships that I have at the Capitol right now. I've been in the Senate for 5 years. Some of my strongest colleagues, strongest allies and close friends chair powerful committees such as Health and Human Services and Human Services, and folks that we can partner with to say, hey, listen, if we're going to lose funding at the federal level, what creative solutions can we come up with together to ensure that we're supporting our hospitals, to ensure that we're continuing to provide coverage for our residents, especially our trans residents. And so there's a lot we can do, and I learned a lot this past year around what the state can do, what the city can do. At the city level, we can institute a local wealth tax, working with the state to make that happen, to bring in more revenue. At the state also, there's a whole host of tax expenditures that are just outrageous. Things like tax write-offs for buying box office tickets for like Timberwolves games that rich people can benefit off of, or purchasing horses for horse races, for example, and things like that. I think we identified as like a progressive team close to like $1 billion in expenditures that can go towards things like ensuring that our hospitals continue to providing care instead. And so my goal as mayor is to be the strongest advocate possible, help identify that, but also creative solutions we can partner with together with the state to make sure that we're continuing to provide the care at the hospitals, because again, Minneapolis should be leading the way. We should not be lagging behind. We should not be sacrificing our values as a state and as a city. We just need a mayor that's willing to stand firm.
My final question to you today, what specific actions would you take as mayor to stand up to the Trump administration's anti-LGBTQ executive orders, which cover a lot of different issues and include freezing federal funding to force our compliance?
Again, I 100% stand and firm with state law. Our state law has made the state of Minnesota a refuge for our trans residents, and we got to do everything we can to protect our LGBT community as a whole. We know that, for example, in 2024, the Trans Equity Council was canceled, and that was a mishap that was created by the mayor. And so we know that to best support our LGBT community and our queer and trans community, that we can't go at it alone. We need to seek their guidance, seek their advice, learn how they're being negatively impacted, positively impacted, and come up with solutions and policy with everyone at the table, with them at the table, rather than creating policy, formulating policy, and explaining it later. It's more helpful to bring folks into the decision-making process as we're going along. How can we better serve you? How can we better partner with the county? How can we better partner with the state? What sources of funding can you help identify? What policy changes can we tweak at the city level with your help? And I think that's the right approach we can take.
Senator Fateh, thank you for joining me today. We really appreciate your taking the time. We know it's the busiest part of the campaign season.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I appreciate you.
For more information about Senator Fateh's candidacy, you can visit fatehformayor.com. That's FATEH.com. Early voting, again, is underway. You can find your ballot and polling location at vote.minneapolismn.gov. There you can also find information on how to register to vote. Election Day is November 4th. Thank you, Senator Fateh. We'll take you out of the studio for right now, and you can feel free to log off.
Thank you so much. Have a good one. Take care.
Bye-bye. You can view all of the interviews that we've conducted with mayoral candidates at our YouTube channel. We've curated a playlist just for you. You can go to youtube.com/@thegailyshow. And we've also included there the full Home Hope Health mayoral forum. A number of organizations put that on. It was led by Claire Housing, as well as one of the organizing partners was Outfront Minnesota. And so you can listen to the joint broadcast between Native Roots Radio, Robert Pilot, and myself. We did an hour beforehand, and we talked to the organizers, and we talked about new voting technology that is available for folks to use at the variety of polling locations. I learned eye-opening stuff on how accessible Minneapolis polling locations now are, with a whole host of new accessible technologies to make voting easier at all the polling locations throughout Minneapolis. And then after that, we have the full forum from start to finish with all of the candidates who were present there. So you can listen to that and see where the candidates stand on a whole host of issues, from public safety to healthcare. So you can go to youtube.com/@thegailyshow to find that playlist. And of course, you can go to am950radio.com and heartlandsignal.com for folks in Chicago if you would like to listen to these as well. And you can find the individual episodes there to listen to. I do want to say that we were in conversations with, I want to give the credit to Minneapolis Mayor Fry's office. We weren't able to find the dates. So I do want to say that, I was in conversations with his press secretary, and we were trying to make that work out. I want to acknowledge that Mayor Fry's press secretary was saying this is a very important issue and conversation for him. Unfortunately, with all of the debates happening this week, we just couldn't make it happen. But we appreciate the conversations that we had there. So I do want to honor those conversations that we had with his campaign. All right, I have to take a break here. One last break, but still lots to get to here on The Gailey Show. You can keep the conversation going on our Blue Sky. You can go to Blue Sky. We're at thegailyshow.org there. And please be sure to sign up for AM950's weekly e-newsletter, where you can find more from The Gailey Show and all of AM950's progressive radio and talk. Go to am950radio.com, scroll down to the bottom of the page, and sign up for the weekly newsletter. More after this break.
On Saturday, November 15th, One Voice Mixed Chorus presents the concert Protest Lines, a concert and community sing at the O'Shaughnessy Auditorium. Hear the chorus perform powerful music of protest, and then join them as they teach you songs to take to the streets. This is a true community sing-in for the times we are enduring. Go to onevoicemn.org to buy tickets, onevoicemn.org.
Minnesotans age 65 plus might qualify for Health Partners Minnesota Senior Health Options. The easy all-in-one plan includes personal support, coverage for medical, prescription drugs, and dental, plus many extra benefits. Eligibility information is available at healthpartners.com/oneplan. Health Partners is a health plan that contracts with both Medicare and the Minnesota Medical Assistance Medicaid program to provide benefits of both programs to enrollees. Enrollment in Health Partners depends on contract renewal. It's not too early to start your Thanksgiving preparations. Ferndale Market is now taking reservations for their fresh, never frozen turkeys, raised free range and without antibiotics on the Peterson family's third generation farm in Cannon Falls. Ferndale Market turkeys are the perfect centerpiece for your holiday meal. A fresh turkey means no thawing hassle, faster cooking time, and the peace of mind knowing it's been raised naturally, just the way Fern and Del Peterson envisioned back in 1939 when they started the farm. You can pick up your turkey just days before Thanksgiving on their on-farm market and have some fun during Turkey Fest, or find Ferndale Market turkeys at natural food stores across the Midwest. Ferndale Market's commitment to quality has been passed down through the generations, ensuring that you get the best turkey for your table. Don't wait. Reserve your turkey today at ferndalemarket.com or use their website to find a retail partner near you. Make this Thanksgiving special with a farm fresh turkey from Ferndale Market.
Would you let animals pick your insurance? Do you really need to experience mayhem to get the best rates? Or how about a celebrity quarterback or fake university saving you money? There's a lot of marketing stunts when it comes to insurance, but what you really need is someone looking out for you. Call Array Insurance, and they will work hard to find you the best insurance coverage and rates. So avoid gimmicks and call Cheryl at Array, 763-504-3067 or arrayinsurance.com. Array Insurance, working hard for you.
This season, bring the whole family to see Irving Berlin's White Christmas. This smash hit musical based on the classic film returns by popular demand to delight you at Chanhassen dinner theaters. With loads of laughter and a stunning showcase of Irving Berlin songs, White Christmas is a celebration of the romance, friendship, and magic of the holidays. Make your plans today to see White Christmas. Visit chanhassendt.com.
Welcome back to the Gailey Show. We are coming up on the top of the hour. I am John Parker. I wanted to flag an article from LGBTQ Nation for you. It is a disturbing story that happened over the weekend in Denver, where there was a slew of vandalism against a number of LGBTQ businesses in the capital of Colorado. The businesses included 2 salons, a queer gym, a boutique, and the Center on Colfax, which is a LGBTQ pride center for one of the largest LGBTQ organizations in Colorado. There are, Denver police is saying that they're unclear if all of the attacks are related, but Pasha Ripley, who is Parasol Patrol's executive director, said in a statement that these attacks do not resemble random vandalism. They are intimidation designed to push LGBTQIA+ people, families, and especially youth-serving organizations back into fear and isolation. So we will, this is just really the false equivalency, I guess, that this is bringing up here is that you don't see LGBTQ people going around and smashing in political offices of MAGA. You don't see LGBTQ people going around and rioting at churches or vandalizing churches. And so this false equivalency that's happening, that somehow the LGBTQ community is, overplayed their hand, or, the Democratic Party is too involved in LGBTQ issues and that's why they lost the election. And this violence is coming really in one direction and from one particular group of people. And it's really, it's very concerning that we see, more of this happening. I want to point out Styler Ells, who is the owner of the Joy of Movement Collective. They had found out that their gym, their queer gym, had been attacked as part of the slew of vandalism. Their garage windows were smashed out and glass was littered on the floor. Els said that to LGBTQ Nation, "We're very loud and proud. We're very out in the community. We do a lot of organizing. We do a lot of activism, and a lot of the businesses that did get hit are also the same. So it's yeah. I can't even. It's a ugly time right now, and the I don't know. That's why I've been very grateful to have mayoral candidates from Minneapolis joining us here on the show and to talk about LGBTQ issues. There are a lot of things going on, obviously, that are affecting the LGBTQ community. Affordability being one of those things, healthcare absolutely being one of those things, affordable housing being one of those things, positive or at least productive interactions with public safety being one of those things. But I was just really grateful to the candidates for joining us, because we were really the only ones in the radio space who were providing LGBTQ specific coverage of this race here in 2025. And it was really nice to have those conversations and to hear what the candidates had to say, and to know that there are political leaders here in the city who are standing up for the community. It was almost uniformly that, it was uniformly that in all of the interviews that we did, everyone was on the side of protecting the LGBTQ community, the rights that we have won. And, this is indicative maybe of Minneapolis and Minnesota being leaders on these issues in the country. Minnesota was the first state in the country to add gender identity as a protected class in their Human Rights Act. There was the second state after Wisconsin to add sexual orientation into the protected status here. And it's, a world of difference when I moved here from Michigan, where, there I was very coded. I was very like, I can't come out. I didn't want to come out at my workplace, and I didn't know how, employers were going to respond. It was very case by case basis. And when I got here and I realized, I don't have to think in those terms anymore, that was such a huge sigh of relief. And so it doesn't surprise me at all that we were a trans refuge state. And which is not to say there isn't work to do here in Minnesota. There absolutely is, as there's work to do in Illinois as well. And learning all of Illinois' history through our partnership with Windy City Times and the work that needs to be done there, but all of the leadership that Chicago and Illinois has been providing and continuing to provide. We see through Governor Pritzker in Illinois, and then we see through Governor Walz here in the Great North State. Are we the Great North State, Patrick? What is our motto? I'm blanking on it. Oh, that's terrible. I've been here for 14 years. But, this is what I want folks to take away from this rambly kind of monologue is that it is a scary time right now. Whether you're a business, whether you are just a person walking down the street, whether you're trying to go and get healthcare from a provider, it's become very uncertain. And there's a lot of hypervigilance going on of what do I even expect from somebody right now? What has MAGA enabled right now? What is MAGA fomenting right now? And so, it's the queer community rallying to support ourselves, but also the allies being there as well, who have got our back and are joining with us to push back against MAGA. That's all from us here today. Thank you for listening and or watching. Up next on WCPT 820 is Choose Views with Richard Chu on AM 950 Radio. It is the Matt McNeil Show. Stay tuned after that for Native Roots Radio. And then at 10 p.m. Central, Step Into the Unknown with Greg Bakken on Ghost Box Radio. Connect with us on Blue Sky. We're at thegailyshow.org on Blue Sky. And until this time tomorrow, keep it queer, America.